So Aaron asked the temperature on his phone and he gave it in Fahrenheit. I asked it on mine and he gave it in Celsius. And I was like, I wonder where that happened. Morning. What did you guys think of that super boring trip? Yeah. So we watched the first episode of Doctor Who last night. And then we kind of kicked around for a little bit because So Aaron found out a place to buy it because, well, we don't have BBC technically.
No, we do.
We do, but we don't live in the UK. So they're like...
So their online thing doesn't work for us.
Yeah, so, because back home, we were typically there unless we subscribed to it. If we got the channel in full, we could watch stuff, like BBC America. We get the channel, but can't watch stuff because we're in the wrong region. Welcome to Europe. Sorry, welcome to Brexit.
This is happening before Brexit.
I'm still blaming Brexit. It's a past and a future problem. It's expanding outwards in the timeline. Pretty soon I'm going to blame Brexit for the Dark Ages. We watched that, and then we got that finally, because it's like, is it on YouTube? No. Well, how do we do this on the PlayStation? Oh, well, if we sign the cable box, the KPN box into YouTube, then it'll do it. Aaron's like, oh, I can't seem to find it on here. Well, I found it on here. It's just not showing up. Or was that Prime?
Both.
And then he was like, oh, no, it was on Prime. So we switched back over, turned on the PlayStation, and went, okay, it's on Prime. Oh, I can't seem to find it.
Every streaming service I have available, and finally found it on Google Play Video, or TV, or whatever it's called now. When I buy from there, it goes into my YouTube history.
To which we watched on the KPN box with Dutch menus. Thankfully, we kind of started learning, basic... We're actually starting to learn advanced words. We're not intermediate. We'll call it the intermediate words.
Yeah.
I still can't read through a legal document very well.
No one can.
And then, so while we were in between the two episodes, I watched a little bit of the Raiders-Seahawks game. And that was not a game. Mainly because the team I wanted to lose was starting to win, and I was like, well, this is terrible. But then I realized the BBC was only carrying it for an hour. I'm like, with all the American commercials and I turned it off and just basically watched some British documentary for a little while on BBC Two because I was tired of them going over and over the same fucking touchdown. It was funny the first time when I saw him crash into the wall and he fell on three or five photographers, and like one of them's like, I still gotta get pictures. My leg is snapped in 5 places. But after 5 minutes, I didn't need to see this touchdown anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, maybe, and that's part of the reason why. It's like, I don't mind watching the thing, it's just that they replay stuff so much.
Yeah.
And we had an excessive amount of British commentators. There was one, and it was probably the same one that the guys in the States got, but it still was just like,
Yeah.
And then all the commercials were not American commercials, they were British commercials, so we're just like, people buy that product? Of course, you go over to America and you're like, who in all of humanity buys that product? Because that's something you can buy in America.
Grim Reaper?
The burger with like 4...
that Grim Reaper, okay.
And so, yeah, it's just... And so once they started going over that touchdown, just over and over, I was like, I'll listen to... And I switched down to BBC Two, up to BBC One, and they were finishing something, and it was a rooster race. And I was like, well, this is certainly better than watching the Seahawks getting a touchdown. And these chickens are like confused as to what they're supposed to do because they're chickens. One of them is named Roadrunner because it was red. I think. I don't know. Regardless, Doctor Who started on. What did you think of both the episodes?
They were... I don't generally like the first episode of a Doctor.
I think I know why. Because they don't know who they are. And you're like, oh, this again.
Yeah.
And to be fair, she was at least expressing the, oh, this again.
Yeah.
And she's sitting here knowing the process is happening. She knows exactly what's going to happen. It's all going to be fine in the end, but it's so frustrating watching Connect 4 happen for an entire episode.
Yeah. And watching her figure out how stuff happens and that stuff happens. So it's really frustrating to have the protagonist just not know what's going on. And it's the same issue I have with the first couple chapters of a book late in a series. I already know all this stuff. I probably just binge watched stuff or binge read, so I don't need it again. But of course you have to have it.
Yeah, to be fair, Stephen Bruce barely does anything like that because...
No, it's still there.
Oh.
Chapter or two explaining who he is, who Ratza is, who Loish is.
But it's different it's a different way every time. This is almost...
That's pretty common.
Okay, because with Doctor Who it seems like it's almost the same exact fashion every time.
Yeah.
Alright, so...
Bye.
So, I'm here at Albert Heijn. Got my getting taco stuff. Gotta swing by the butcher. I realized he closed at like 6. It's like 4:30 right now. And I'm looking for fruit. I mean, I'm American. I will pay for someone to package something for me and cut it up. I'm literally just that lazy because I have liquor. Oh, it's rosé. 35% off. Bonus, I didn't actually pick any up. Because I realized I don't like rosé. I bet like that little bit of gay came out. I actually momentarily thought that if I go by one of the Biologisch markets, I might be able to find flavored coconut water, maybe. But again, Biologisch. Some people just leave their, I mean, having their carts out is one thing. They're like hip height, but having baskets out there just down on chips. Do I need chips? Chips. Do we need chips? We need something. I need to start figuring out how to eat lunch. That's the problem. Despite the fact that I have a loaf of bread sitting next to my computer, that apparently is not helping. Pringles hot and spicy. You never deliver. Wine. Beer's on the other side. I realize that my shorts come down to my knees, and that's long for the Netherlands, apparently. Either that or the youths these days just have legs for days. So, Mr. Butcher is like, I see you sometimes in the morning, you videoing. I'm like, yeah, and so I explained what I did. Then tell him that he's kind of a star in there. I mean, you know, I tell him about all the wonderful things. I picked up 2 burger patties today because that was actually fairly decent. And now that we actually have like toppings and we have cheese, we can actually do that maybe tomorrow because we have the gifted tomorrow. Benefit, and I have to tell Aaron this one, I have an app that I can use and link it through Tauschbesorgt. And I can link that to the team through other online shopping, but mainly right now we're thinking Tauschbesorgt. I am at least. Oh, meat. Oh, don't. And you basically order and the club gets a kickback. I'm sitting here thinking like, we are going to be eating out a lot more.